Wow, this studio is crazy. David, here's the most impressive part to me. I'll just cut right to it. David spent $40,000 building this spot. This is literally a barn building in his backyard. The whole thing included decorations and everything. He did the majority of the work, so that's where a lot of that savings comes in. But $40,000, there's a control room, a live room, a vocal booth, a drum guitar amp booth, there's a lounge, there's a bathroom, there's a workshop with mic locker in it. It's like 1,200 square feet for $40,000. That's unbelievable. Amazing job, David. Thank you for having me out. So cool to meet you and hang out in your spot. If you guys want to follow David, his links are down in the description. David and I have been chatting for a few months to try to work this out, so I'm happy that it actually happened. We finally got together. So fun to hang out. Go check him out if you guys want to follow him. If you guys like these videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button. There's a whole playlist of these epic studio setups. Make sure to head on over to the channel and binge all those videos. It's absolutely ridiculous. The whole point of these videos is literally for me to steal all of your great ideas, combine them, and build the most epic-ist of studios of all time. So if you guys like these videos, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. If you want to support the channel, you can head on over to ANDREWMASTERSmusic.com. You can hire me for mixing, consulting, Zoom calls. The consulting is really cool. You actually book a Zoom call through the website and we can actually chat just like this. Those have probably been my absolute favorite. So again, head on over to ANDREWMASTERSmusic.com. That's the best way to support the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's go check out David's epic barn studio. Holy cow. This is unbelievable.
That's usually the reaction. That's good.
Yeah, you would know. I mean, it's so, like most places here in Nashville, it's unassuming from the outside. Okay, so we've got, this is obviously hallway. Mm-hmm. You've got a little shop in here.
Yeah.
Which is amazing that it's separate.
Definitely. Okay. I wanted to have storage for a little bit of things.
Yeah, this is
Keep it out of the way.
And then bathroom.
Yeah.
You got a bathroom, which is like puts you miles ahead of most home studios.
That was the reason for the studio.
Yeah.
So I could have a bathroom.
Okay, you got a nice little lounge. Oh yeah. Fridge in the separate room. I still have that buzz going in my room.
That does get annoying. I wish there was a way to stop that. I really do. I killed the fans in there.
Yeah.
And the gear, and now I need to figure that out.
Wow. Okay. And then a separate patio. Excellent. Yeah. That is amazing.
That's to the backyard of the house.
Wow. Oh, okay. So shortcut.
Yeah. That's my way home.
Yeah, that's great. You got a separate workstation out here. This is like the dream setup, dude. Record collection.
Yeah.
Snacks.
Extra snares.
And then storage up top.
Yeah, that's mostly just cases, an old radio, and extra heads.
Wow. What's the story with these? Are these all show posters?
Yeah, just shows. Just posters actually that I thought were cool from shows I'd played in my band in the past, Stack and Love's Tragedy, local bands. So I just thought they were cool posters, so I framed them up.
You said you built it because of the bathroom. A little bit of a joke, right? Yeah. Obviously you'd want to build this. That was probably a big motivation. What was the process like of planning this and putting it together, like from like your idea of what it was to actually doing it?
Oh, that's a lot there. So we lived in Nashville, and I had a basement studio.
Okay.
And it just got to a point where my wife was like, who are these people coming in the house?
Yeah.
That was the bathroom thing.
Yeah.
And so we started looking for a property that we could put a building on. Found this place, got it like 1.25 acres. There's plenty of land for that. And then as far as the planning for it, you just do a lot of research.
Yeah.
Some of the forums, we've talked about that a little bit, but some of the forums give a lot of good information. John Sayers was a real big one for me. And then, I mean, you have to deal with the building codes.
Right.
And I did it all by myself. I had a little bit of help from friends with like painting and hanging the drywall. They hated me. They'll never do it again.
Yeah, of course.
With the drywall, but electrical, I did it all. I had help with it. A little bit for like designing the air conditioning system.
Yeah.
But I just ordered it online, had it shipped to the house.
Wow.
And put it all together.
And then the structure, did you hire a company to put up the structure?
I did. It was basically, I mean, originally when I talked to you about this a long time ago, I was like, oh, I have a studio that's in a barn.
Yeah.
Because basically what this is a pole barn.
Wow.
So it's a metal building with, you know, poles holding it up.
Yeah.
And then I had that spray foam. A local company does spray foam. I had them do the whole shell. And then everything is built with inside that shell.
Wow.
So, I mean, the exterior structure, the spray foam, the concrete, and then it was all me.
So, and this is obviously on a slab. You just poured a slab. That's amazing. What's the size of the building?
The building is a 30 by 40, so it's 1,200 square feet.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's not quite that on the inside because the walls are almost a foot thick in places. But
well, it's cool. I mean, you've got like a lot of different shapes to the rooms in here. It's not just one or two spots.
It's kind of more of, it wasn't like on purpose that I wanted it to. I mean, obviously I did it on purpose, but I didn't think, well, this room's gonna sound better if I put an angled wall in it. Yeah. As far as like the ISOs and things like that, most of it was just done to maximize the space.
Sure. Well, great job, man. How long did it take?
It took me 9 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not bad considering the extent that you went to in each room here. There's a lot. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's check out the control room first. Oh yeah. I love the color scheme. Right off the bat, I think rock and roll.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, this feels very rock and roll in here, which is cool. And I don't see a lot of this in Nashville particularly, but this feels very rock and roll, like very home to me. I grew up listening to a lot of hard rock, so this was a lot of the color, a lot of the albums we had were in this scheme.
Yeah, it's obviously I like red apparently, but yeah, no, it's definitely I had a color scheme when it came time to paint that I had picked out. Yeah. And they all, you know, my friends who's a painter, he was like, man, I don't know if that's gonna work. Yeah. And then after we got done, he was like, oh, it was a good job, man. That's a good color pick. Yeah. So aside from like the red lights and screen, it's actually in the, what are these little red panels? Those are from a company called GIK Acoustic, and it's, I think they call them diffusion absorption panels. I can't remember what their name is for them. Yeah. But you can order them special like that. You can pick the fabric color because it's basically a panel wrapped in fabric, and then they put that wood face on the front of it, and you can get them all different finishes and colors.
And that's GIK Acoustic? Mm-hmm. Cool. I think I've heard of them. Yeah, it feels really cozy, you know?
Definitely does.
Which is super important.
It wasn't really, I mean, all this, you're just doing it as you go. Yeah. And so, you know, I didn't really think about what the walls would necessarily look like finished, but when I was designing it, but it turned out pretty well, I think.
A lot, I will give you props, a lot of detail on lights, which is something not a lot of studio people think about when planning a studio, but the lights down on the riser that you built here, behind the couch, you know, you got the LEDs, you got the sconces, like, as someone who's shooting videos, like this is like the first thing that draws my attention. And under the desk. Yep. That's amazing. So you've got this back area. Yeah. On a riser. What was the thinking there?
To make the speakers level with the ear. Yeah. You know, for the clients. Yeah. That were sitting back there. This brought them off the ground a little higher and got a better picture back there. Nobody's ever really said anything, but.
It's like a theater.
Yeah, definitely.
Theater seating, yeah.
It's definitely like that. It feels really cool. Sitting back there, because sometimes I can go back there and just let the mix play. Yeah. And see what it sounds like. Just see what you're missing.
And then you have a pretty wild collection of guitars here.
Yeah, so like this one and this one, they're actually mine. But the rest of these, my dad has his own small studio back in his house, like and a home studio as well. Yeah. He just has a bunch of guitars, and every once in a while he'd be like, hey, bring me that one back, I'll give you this one. Or hey,
cool.
you have some more room, I can give you another one.
Some loaners, yeah.
So they're here to use. We use them all the time.
Got a couple things in this outboard gear rack here. You got a beautiful desk.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Let's break down this rig sort of one by one. Computer. What are you using as your computer?
Computer is a 2012 Mac Pro Tower.
2012. Okay, is that this one?
Mm-hmm.
The silver one?
Yeah, I bought that in 2012, new. And then last year I put the rest of the upgrades that you could have bought at the time. So I upgraded the processor, all that good stuff.
All right.
Processor, video card, and RAM is maxed.
Nice.
So.
And everything's rocking and rolling.
It is. Actually got, as you do more with virtual instruments and more expansive plugins and things like that, it does kind of, you have to work, it make a different workflow. Yeah. So I am looking at getting the new Mac Pro. I just don't know about if I want to wait for the M1.
Yeah, dude, that's the tough call because it's like 20 grand to juice up a current one. You've got the Avid Control S3 and the remote.
And the dock. Which holds your iPad, which I see a lot of guys on your channel talking about I play drums, so how do you record? Like, obviously, we have run to the other room, you know? That would be a little bit annoying.
I used to do that.
But you can actually just take this in there with you. You can set up your session. It's not on right now, but you can set up your session with that app. They even have it on your phone now too, so I don't have to take that with me. You can set up the hotkeys for it, the soft keys or whatever, new playlist. I mean, it's great. It's very customizable, and you can just push one button when you sit down.
That's especially in a spot like this. If you're in here on your own, like that's a bit of a hike. And what an amazing looking live room teaser through that window, by the way.
Right.
Beautiful. So you're using Pro Tools.
Mm-hmm.
You got that S3, which looks so fun and beautiful. How do you like using that?
I love it. I used to have the single fader port from PreSonus.
Yep.
And I didn't use it.
Yeah.
And I was like, but then I don't know if something just wanted to be more hands-on.
Yeah. Of course.
And I saw this thing, and I was talking to my dealer about what can we do to get more hands-on and just get that feel back. Ended up going with this, and I've loved it ever since I got it. It's challenging to get away from these two things.
Yeah.
But once you do, and once you force yourself to work on this kind of a control surface, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
What desk is this?
This is actually an Argosy desk designed for the S3.
Wow.
You got the 2 9-space racks on either side, and in the back they have racks as well. There's 8 rack spaces in the back where you can put power conditioners and whatever else you want in there. I put the headphone distribution back there.
Yeah.
Stuff that you don't need up front. It comes in about 20 boxes.
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean it's big. This is a big desk.
Yeah. We got the Akai MPK controller over here. Just got this in. I think I got it because I thought it looked cool. I have another MIDI keyboard, but I was like black on black keys.
Yeah.
Black desk. It looks slick.
You got the Warm Auto 273 EQ.
I like it just like I kick and snare live here.
Yeah.
But I can't wait to let the rest of the kick mics and the rest of the snare mic and the rest of the drums live there. So.
Okay, and then you've got the PreSonus monitor station here.
Yeah, I've had this for quite a while. I haven't actually had any other kind of monitoring since before this. This is the only one I've ever purchased, but I like it. It does. I got the talkback function that I line to the headphone amp. That's the biggest piece for me. There's plenty of other monitor controllers, but I need this button. This
is an HD system. You're on Pro Tools Ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then your interface system.
So the interface starts with, I guess I'll just go through them in the chain. I have them hooked. So you have the HD Omni, which has 2 mic inputs on it, and then I have a couple other pre's connected to it. It's got 4 line ins, analog, and then a digital, which I have this Art MPA going into there, into the digital one. Just have 6 inputs on it. And then we have the Aurora 8, which actually it's 8, but there's 8 digital connections also from the 4710D by UA that go into there. So this is actually 16 inputs and 8 outputs. And then these DigiDesign 1A2, they're freaking cheap.
Yep.
So $350 and you can get another. Great records were made on them.
It's true.
If it goes out, it's no big deal. Because this one actually did recently go out. I got another Another one coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, headphones go out of here on 16, then that gives me another 8 inputs. Analog. I used to have 2, but I really don't need it.
Yeah.
I just like to have that standalone for the headphone.
So total, how many inputs? 24?
38?
38, wow.
38 right now.
What are your like go-to pre's over here? Obviously, I see the 710s.
Go-to pre's. I love this. You'll never find this anywhere. This is a custom piece that my father's friend, he used to design guitar amps. He worked for Soldano and a bunch of other companies. This is his version of a mic pre. This thing, you can crank this knob all the way up, the gain knob, and you don't know it's on until somebody does something on the other end. You don't hear a hiss.
Yeah.
There's nothing. It's so quiet. It doesn't have phantom power. The 4710D, I love it. This was one of my first big microphone preamp purchases. You know, you got the transformer or tube blend knob on there. Those are great. I love guitars on here, and you can get a lot out of that. I think right now I have my mid-side for the drums.
Oh, cool.
Bloom line set up going through there. These are gimmick. They're Trident, but what's funny is that as the level comes in, this piece here glows brighter, like a tube.
Okay.
But it's not a tube.
Okay, yeah.
So I bought them just to see what they were about. I bought them used. A guy had like 10 of them he was selling. But they work great.
What's the model on them?
They're the S20, a dual microphone pre's.
Okay.
And another cool thing is they have this A/B switch. So you can get 2 inputs on it. They got the gain knob, and then they have a low filter on there that goes all the way up to 200, which is pretty good. Especially when you're trying to get guitars cleaned up or whatever. This was the first microphone preamp I ever bought. The LA610 Mark II.
Yeah,
a lot of guys would be like, that's the first one? Well, I wanted something really cool.
Yeah, that's a good one, man.
And I've used this on bass and vocals since I got it.
Then the Millennius.
2
channels?
Super clean, yeah.
That's right.
Super clean, really nice preamps.
What do you use those on?
DIs.
Oh, okay, nice.
Like for
guitar and bass?
Guitars, you're trying to get an amp sim going.
Yeah.
I always go through that. This is Art, digital MPA. I think I have this on the high rooms. In the live room, when we go in there, I'll show you. There's mics up on the wall, and I have that on there. And this thing here, Audient ASP 880.
Oh yeah, Audient.
I can't say enough of good things about this thing. If you're tracking drums, the most amazing thing is when you have all the same pre's.
Yeah.
And not a hodgepodge of a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
To me, it sounds more cohesive.
Yeah.
And as soon as I got that was my first, real preamp that sounded good and that I could do that with. And that changed the world for me. I love this thing.
So that's the Audient. What's the model on that?
ASP 880.
ASP 880.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And it has digital interface in it as well, so you could run it light pipe to whatever you want. So if you had like an old 003 laying around that you were just bored, you could light pipe another 8 into there. I also have this Focusrite Octapre. These 2 pieces here is what I used to run my recordings with. The 003 and that's all I had for a long time.
Yeah, man.
I don't really get into this rack much. Occasionally, if depending on the acoustic, I might use one of these DBX compressors. Sometimes I like to use those just on acoustic DI. These are old school 80s equipment, Hush, it's a noise gate. This thing here, my dad sent me these 2, because he'll bring a hard drive for the Alesis, and I can patch them into my system and go from, whatever he wants me to do.
Whoa.
And then this is a
Fostex.
It's like, I want to say DAT.
Yeah.
It takes like a little cassette.
And what patch bays are these?
Those are the Redco Audio.
Redco, yeah.
If you're looking for a DB25 TT patch bays.
Yeah, buddy.
Those are the ones to get. They're affordable. As that means affordable, $500 a piece.
Oh, okay. And then we got some compressors up here too. These are the go-tos, huh?
Yeah, so the Warm Audio, it's 1176 style compressor. Both of these are. This one, the Warm Audio, I've got them in the computer, but it's great to have outboard gear. to record it. And so I use that a lot. This Bluey is Chris Lord Alge's version. That's made by Black Lion Audio. And the cool thing about this is that you can blend. So it's still 1176, but it's got a blend knob on there.
Interesting.
A little bit different version of 1176,
yeah.
Based on whatever revision or whatever, but I like that one. I like them both.
Speakers.
Those Dyne Audios, LYD48.
Yep.
And I've seen them on your channel a few times.
Yeah.
I love them. As soon as I got them, mixing became easy. They sound huge.
They sound great, yeah.
They sound really good.
That's
and
awesome.
The ones in the wall that I soffit mounted, those are just some cheap Mackeys.
How do they sound in the soffits? What was that
They sound a lot better than they did just individually.
Yeah.
You can actually crank those, and I didn't sit in the back of the room. It's a way different experience coming out of the soffit speakers than if they were on stands. And I just took the amps off the back and put them on the wall. As far as like the layout and kind of how the room should be, again, John Sayers Forum, they have like the angled walls. Like it's kind of like a blueprint that he has on that website, that forum. And I kind of took it to my own take on it, I guess, a little bit. Most of it is, the floor plan that it would have been off of his blueprint, but I took the walls and did it's basically like a broadband absorption with the different style slats or different width slats. Behind the soffits, it's packed full of rock wool insulation. Behind these walls, it's just effaced kind of with insulation, covered with fabric, and then slatted. And so you get different frequency absorption as the slats come away from. It's actually a square room.
Yeah.
Built as a square, and then this was built with inside of this room. And then underneath the speakers, it's fabric on those walls. And again, those have more rock wool behind them for more low frequency absorption.
And then you've got traps in the back corner too.
Yep. Those again are just like a 2x4 frame. Put the rock wool insulation in there, cover it with fabric, trim it up.
Awesome. Let's go check out the live room.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Look at this freaking room. Holy cow. What was the inspiration with this room? Like when you were imagining it, when
I imagined it, I didn't imagine it quite like this. Yeah. I originally wanted to have rock wall, which I may still do on this wall over here to add some diffusion to it. I originally just had homemade panels all the way around it.
Yeah.
The whole place is homemade, but more 4x2 panels,
Yep.
Just around the mid section of the room, but there's still a lot of room here. So just to try to tame it down, early at the end of last year, I built these skinnier panels, and I wanted them to light up. I always wanted them to light up. Everybody
it's so cool, man. The panels have the lights behind them, but then there's those sconces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you don't like the colors, I can push a button and we can get a different color.
Yeah. Did you build these panels?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My first question is, what is this fabric?
It's actually, so the big thing that I've learned through those great forums we go to is that you need a breathable fabric.
Yep.
If it's too stiff, it's not gonna absorb through the fabric.
Right.
So this is like actually, it's stretchy.
Yeah.
It's a faux velvet.
Yep.
So it feels smooth.
But it's almost reflective in.
Yeah, it's a metallic
visually.
Gray. Yeah.
All right, and you got some bass traps in the corners. So I see the ceiling kind of rises up and comes back down.
Yep.
And then you have the walls are also sort of changing angles.
Right.
Like almost on each wall.
You don't really want a square room. It's not really that live in here. It's definitely more lively than in the control room, but I just try to spread out the sound around the room and get a little more diffuse sound. And I just wanted it to be as big as I could make it. So the height that's as high as I could go within my shell. The angled walls over there, I was just trying to be different.
It's cool because you have two booths back there. It looks like an amp booth and a drum shelf / second amp booth.
Right.
Obviously, lots of amps in the room, cabs. So there's plenty of space. You could literally have a full band play in here.
It didn't make it any more functional the way I redesigned it at the end of last year.
Mm-hmm.
The big thing is that it made it more comfortable.
Yep.
It made it a lot more inviting and just interesting of a place to be. I just wanted it to be a little more polished.
And you got the big loudspeakers.
Yeah,
so you can just rehearse.
Yeah, just for rehearsal.
PA, yeah.
Yeah, just for rehearsal mostly, or some bands have come in here and they've shot videos because the room's big enough so I can just take my drums out of the way and they can throw their backdrops up or whatever.
So you're a drummer.
Mm-hmm.
You got some drums here. Is this the A kit?
Well, yeah, surprisingly, I love this kit. I bought it just so I could play live and just have a kit that I really didn't worry too much about, the finish or whatever. It's a Pearl Decade Maple. I have a couple other kits that I'll dig out, but for the most part, this is the one that gets used. So I guess it would be the A kit right now.
What are these headphone systems?
That is the Behringer PowerPlay X16.
X16,
So there's Cat 5, Cat 6, I can't remember.
Yep,
In
and
the
you
control
got the brain
room.
in there.
And then all that runs to each room. And then I have another splitter out here to power them. So as far as the mics, I'll just leave it all set up because I'm recording drums a couple times a week, usually. It's a D6 on the inside. This is a Sterling Audio ST51. I didn't pick it because it sounded great there. It just sounded best of what I had.
Yeah.
You know, I had a couple different ones. I tried it out. This one landed there. So it's just the outside kick. And then this is the Solomon Low Freak on the Triad. This is a must if you have this thing because they're kind of hard to position.
Yeah.
But that's the Triad Orbit, like ball mount things, really cool. And then on the toms, this is a D2, Audix D2, Audix D4. I have another one of these if I use 4 toms. And then a Audio Technica, I always forget, I think ATM 25. And then snare is 57 top and bottom.
Beautiful.
And so overheads, these are SE Electronics SE1A.
SE1A.
And I tried those a long time ago and I just loved them.
And then you got a bunch of room mics too.
So these are actually Sterling Audio. This is all the local Guitar Center really had that kind of fit my budget and what I was going to do with it. One of them is in figure of 8.
Yep.
And the other one is in cardioid. The cardioid gets your mono signal always, and then the figure of 8 is facing over here. And then in Pro Tools, you duplicate it and pan the other one all the way. So as you bring up, this mic is now duplicated. As you bring that up, you just get this crazy width.
Yeah.
And you duplicate it and flip to phase. That's what you do.
Right.
But it's just a really fun trick. And then these are just MXL ribbons.
Oh, cool.
I've got them spaced across the room. These, they're 140, MXL 144. I think that's what it is. R144, yeah.
Nice.
And I mean, they're really inexpensive and they do the job and they sound pretty cool.
So those are wide, low rooms.
Yeah.
And then you've got these guys up top too.
Yeah, those are the Blue Spark.
Couple amps here. Mm-hmm. What's that called? Splon?
Splon, yeah. This is my guitar player's amp. We use it, you know, here and there. My guitar player is Keith White. He's got this one. He actually had an endorsement through him with one of our older bands. They're a high gain, like a Marshall, but this thing just sounds amazing.
Sweet.
So way better than any Marshall he's always buying them and trying them and whatever. This one always wins.
And what is that, a 609 on the cab?
Yeah, E609. And this is really just for us to rehearse with, for the in-ears or for recording rehearsals or whatever.
Nice.
If I have to use it on something, I'll use it on it's not a bad sounding mic by any means. Sounds good.
We got the big Fenders over here. Bassman.
So the Bassman, you can throw a guitar in there and get a little wild on that too.
Yeah.
The Lab series, not many people have this. It's an inexpensive solid state, but it sounds really good.
And you use both of these for bass?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, either way. I mean, we got a keyboard or something. I used to have like a electric keyboard that I would throw in to this Lab series, and it sounded really cool.
Nice.
Just something. Sometimes you need something to inspire you. Just plug it in.
Yeah.
You know.
And then you got the SVT.
More bass. Everybody always needs more bass.
Yeah.
I actually got this from, I really used to love this band called, or I still do, a band called Cartel. And I followed the singer on Instagram, and he had posted this up for sale.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, heck yeah, I don't even play bass. Let me get a bass rig. But it's a great bass rig because I've seen them, you know, it's got the history. I love the band, all that stuff. And then a couple $100 in maintenance, and it's rocking and rolling. It's killer. And then this acoustic is kind of a Frankenstein. I believe this is more of a guitar head, but that's like a 118 cab.
All right, and then we got drum booth.
Yeah.
Or guitar booth.
Yeah.
With drum storage.
Vocal, drum storage, guitar, locker, or whatever. This Pres Ouboard maple kit was the first kit I ever bought. I played on a cheaper kit for a long time, and you get tired of it. You want to have good drums, good gear. So I was like, I'm gonna buy me a kit. I bought that one in high school. I don't even know how I did it. This is a 1960s Slingerland. Bought this one, it was like my second kit I bought, and I rewrapped it. The only thing I had was the shells.
Got it.
When I got it. So
job,
I sent them off to get new bearing edges. I just built it basically, put it all together. It's not really I have the actual kick for it, but I never finished it because I didn't really want a shallow kick then.
Yeah.
So this is actually a Pres Export kick drum that I bought. Ripped a wrap up and off brand new and put this wrap on there. This is a Slingerland as well. It's from the 50s.
Yeah, that's classic right there.
Cloud badge. Again, this one didn't have hardware, but I tried to do as best I could, putting it back the way it should be. That is the original wrap as far as I know. Yeah. That's on there. And it sounds great. I love it. It was huge. I mean, 14
that's a
by
rock and roll
14.
kick drum right there, bro.
Yeah, 26 inch kick there. Woo! We got a Soldano head. Beautiful, beautiful amp. This is also Keith's head. I told him if he ever wants to get rid of it, he can't. It's mine if he gets rid of it. Another Marshall cab. A couple more headphones. And then the 50s. These mics are just hanging out in here. I don't always use this. It's Audio Technica
4030.
You're right. I just leave it set up. Sometimes I'll use that one or grab a different one. But the 57 is always going to land. Yeah. Always going to land there. And then
vocal booth.
Yeah, vocals, guitars, whatever else. I made all the panels for the studio wiring. I ordered those from Redco Audio, I believe. Yeah. I think that's where I got the snake and the panel, and then just finished it out with some wood, make it look nice. This blue baby bottle, as far as vocals goes, I mean, there's obviously better mics out there, but I even had one of these, it broke, whatever, I don't even know what happened to it. I bought another one. I'm just comfortable with it.
Yeah, you love it.
Yeah, so
that's
use
great.
what you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fender Princeton, just a cheaper Marshall practice amp down there. It's not tube. Yeah. And then this VHT tube head. This one's kind of cool because it's like 3 watts and then 5 watts. You can high power, low power. Yeah. Something like that. And it gets loud if you hook it up to a cab. Again, with the Linehan, this is my dad's old friend that built these. This is like a custom cab that I ordered. I had some speakers just laying around, guitar speakers,
yeah, that looks
and I was
great.
like, well, I want to get a crazy looking cab. So it's red, snake skin, you know. And then this is an old Laney that's been modded. That's but the low input is actually another volume knob. So it's just loud. You just go loud. Jet City cab. Just different options, really. Yeah, man, you got a great collection. Well, dude, thank you so much for showing me around. It's like, thanks for coming check it out, man. Amazing. Before I go, I'd love to hear you play some drums. Okay. If I can do that. If somebody sees this and lives nearby or wants to come into Nashville and book some time with you, how can they do that? Or can they do that? It definitely can. It's rfrstudios.com or redfeatherrecording.com. And then obviously Facebook, Red Feather Recording. Instagram is David Dix RFR. Okay. And just hit me up on any of that. Just send me a message. Awesome. I'll put all those links down in the description. Everyone go follow David. Check out the studio. And yeah, I'll get out of here. Thanks, man. Thank you. See you later. Later.